I'll be honest with you, James, reading this plan is more like reading the T's and C's of a radio competition where they say you've got a chance of winning $1 million, but really you've got to find the key and then guess the combination and make sure that the sun is in just the right place. I mean, look, there's technically hope here, but by their own standards, they're not going to be able to make it by the dates that they have put in place. Look, I hope it works, but I don't think it's going to work on the dates that they're provided. It's based off the case lines here.
And you look at their track record in terms of how they've run it previously. So, of course, you're going to be a bit worried. The last thing Victorians want to hear is sympathy and sorrow from a Queenslander. But I feel so sorry for Victoria. You've got this Premier and this government who completely stuffed the state. The media are not holding to account, apart from yours truly on this program and a few other people on Sky. And yet, look, you know, you've got a greater chance of Santa, you know, doing a nude run down the main street of Melbourne than you do of Daniel Andrews of achieving any of these so-called deadlines in time for Christmas. It's complete rubbish. I want to say to the Victorians, if Deb Frecklington wins the election, I think she will, October 31, come north. Come north to Queensland. Bring your money, bring your businesses. We'll look after you. Come north. Forget about Victoria. Come north to the Freedom State if Deb wins.
Well,
Deb wins.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the Deputy Premier, the Health Minister in Queensland, who is just outright telling lies now, trying to tell everyone that in Queensland, the lefty Jedi mind trick, I'd say it all the time because it's happening again. The economy's doing fine in Queensland. In fact, we're doing better than other places. Roll this tape.
What we've seen in the federal government's own figures released last week was that Queensland performed better than other states, particularly better than those states that haven't closed their borders, haven't kept their communities as safe from COVID-19.
He's talking about the growth figures and about the recession, about how deep the recession is. But what about this? Unemployment, James. It's 1 point higher in Queensland than it is across the rest of the country.
And in Queensland, unemployment was the highest in the country before coronavirus.
Correct.
It's still the highest because this government's been in power for 5 years or 25 out of the last 30 years. I don't know what planet Stephen Miles is on or what drugs he's taking. I hope they're legal drugs. I hope they've been prescribed by a doctor because this guy clearly has not gone around Queensland. He's not been to Cairns. He's not been to Townsville. Not been to Mackay. Hasn't been to the Gold Coast properly. He might have gone down there in the ministerial car and waved at all the plebs and the peasants, you know, in the dole queues. This guy is an oxygen thief. He does not know what is going on in Queensland. Queensland is hurting at the moment, and it's hurting because his government are playing politics with coronavirus and they're playing politics with the border.
It's literally holding a gun to the head of the Queensland economy, but it is just sending a message through. It's the chilling effect, right? That's what they're trying to go for here. Don't try, because we're zealots. We'll never give up.
Exactly. It's sabotage.
It's another case of left-wing bullying. You see it on campuses and you see it here in Queensland. You know, the thing about Adani's not about some Indian company or digging coal out of the ground. This is about jobs. This is about working Queenslanders wanting to have a job so they can put food on their table for their family. So you know what? They can buy a nice new TV, they can buy a house, they can send their kids to school, they can get ahead in life. That's what we want to do. That's what we exist in society for, to get ahead in life. Now, Phil Thompson, who, by the way, says g'day and he wants you back up in Townsville sooner rather than later.
Bloody
Phil Thompson is one of those people who's been fighting for jobs because Adani's based in Townsville. They want to make sure that people up in the north, we do have the highest unemployment in the country, and we need to get projects like Adani going so we can have jobs for people.